Hi folks, Chuck here again with another TikTok on the business of writing. And I wanted to talk about reviews. I have touched on reviews in previous TikToks, mostly with regards to how I think authors should ideally conduct themselves when coming across a bad review. And also, to a certain extent, how I think reviewers should treat the authors they are reviewing, even if that is by not reviewing books that they don't enjoy for a variety of reasons, which again I've gone into in past TikToks. But what I wanted to get into here was the value of leaving reviews for books that you have read. Now, again, in a previous TikTok, I have mentioned that when I used to review semi-professionally for magazines and online publications and things like that, I had a personal stance of not reviewing books that I didn't enjoy. Partly because I thought it was unfair to the author, partly because I thought it was unfair to the readership who might enjoy it, and partly because I felt it was a waste of my time and energy. As for the sort of the first 2 points, the reason I didn't think it was fair is that at the end of the day, I recognised I was one bloke, writing his opinion. One person, and maybe I'm the only person who has that opinion, and I didn't think it was fair to turn people who might really enjoy that book that I didn't enjoy away purely on what I didn't enjoy. So, that aside, reviews I feel are generally a really, really good thing, and not just for authors to receive a review, but also for readers. As an author, obviously, we all love to get great reviews, or even reasonably good reviews. I'm always happy to get a 5-star review, obviously. Always happy to get a 4-star review. Once it gets down to a 3 or a 2, I'm usually a bit, I try not to take it too personally, although obviously I do take it a little personally. But at the end of the day, I know that being on the opposite side of the book, as the author, I'm also dealing with people's personal opinions, and not everyone is going to enjoy every joke I make about a cat, or enjoy every plot I write about, space aliens, or what have you, or the way that I write, or the style, or in some cases I've had bad reviews because of all the swearing in my work. There is a little bit in there, I have to say. I am a bit of a potty mouthy in real life and also, in my prose. At the end of the day, that doesn't matter too much, because I feel that even a review that is not wholly positive, and again, I have my own stance on non-positive reviews, can be of huge assistance, not just to the author, because authors can always pick and choose bits of a review to pass on to others and showcase and what have you, but also to other readers. I do tend to look at the reviews of any books that I'm interested in buying, partly as a cost-cutting exercise. I might read a blurb that I think is absolutely amazing and then go and look at the reviews. And there might be something in the review that makes me run out and get that book absolutely instantly. There might also be things about that review that tell me that maybe I'm not going to enjoy this book so much. And it might be because there's a mention of the style in which it's written. Maybe it's like another book the reviewer read and I go, oh, well, I didn't enjoy that other book, so I might not enjoy this. There might be mention of the tense that it's written in, and I might go, well, I find it difficult to read, books written in that tense. It might even just be the plot, and I think, yeah, that doesn't sound like something that's gonna grab me. So even if it's a positive review, I might end up not reading the book because it doesn't hit me quite right. And that's where, again, the value of reviews in general lies. Is it a perfect system? Of course it isn't, because, sometimes reviewers can be as cack-handed at describing a book as an author can be writing a story. And they can't find a way to really impart the feel or the structure of the book, just their opinion. I've certainly read a lot of reviews that just say, this book was crap. And I instantly think to myself, well, not necessarily. Your opinion is that it's crap. And that's, I think, a really important thing to remember, that these things are always just an opinion. And if you like the sound of a book, you could do worse than checking it out. Worst case scenario, you won't enjoy it, move on to the next book. I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often that readers leave reviews. I'm well aware, because I stay on top of it, of how many copies of my books I sell. I'm also well aware that the number of reviews I get or ratings online for, say, Amazon or on Goodreads or things like that is way below the number of books that go out there. And look, on a personal level, it's slightly annoying. I've got no right to ask people to review, and indeed, when I send copies of books to BookTokers or to reviewers or what have you to look at, I always go to great pains to say, hey, listen, I'm sending this to you. I realise there's no guarantee of a review. Just so you know, I'm not like a foaming weirdo who's going to come yelling at you when it doesn't, you haven't put up a 5-star review in 5 minutes. As I said, I find it really useful for those reviews to get out there, both as a reader and as a writer. I also always make a point of reviewing books that I've read, again, if I enjoyed them, on Goodreads, to a certain extent on Amazon, but mostly on Goodreads, including older books that I suddenly remembered I've read and haven't reviewed before. And I find that's again quite valuable, and I get feedback from people on Goodreads going, oh, what did you think of this, what the other, and what did you think of that element of it? And then you get to conversations with people and work out what people like and what have you, and that also informs future reviews. I'm a little surprised, as I was getting towards saying earlier, that more people don't leave reviews, because we now live in a review obsessed society. If I go to a department store and I've got a membership card or something like that, I know that within seconds of having completed a transaction there, I'm going to get a text or an email saying, hey, you were just in this store, and can you please rate everything that happened there, from whether the server greeted you with a smile or... I hate those sort of things. I realise they've become necessary in this day of digital information, because success and failure can be the difference between a customer stepping outside of a shop and instantly tweeting to their 1 million followers, oh, don't ever go to this shop, it was crap, because for whatever reason. But yeah, be it as it, regardless of the virtues or lack thereof of having to leave reviews for every single thing you do. I mean, I even get things on, you probably do as well, on Google Maps, where I go to a place, not even stay there, but if I go to a mall or something, I'll get a thing saying, hey, you visited this mall today, give us a rating out of 5. So I'm a little surprised that it doesn't happen more with books, which are something that people read for pleasure. So there's more sort of a pleasure associated with the whole process of it, including leaving a review. So I would strongly encourage people, leave a review. And I am talking a little bit out of self-interest here, but I would say if you've read any book and you've again enjoyed it, even if you haven't, that's up to you. But if you have, leave a review. It'll often take you a minute. If you've bought a book on Amazon, you'll be able to review it there. If you've if you're a member of Goodreads, if you've got your own blog, if you've got your own BookToker account or BookTube or anything like that, Instagram account, it doesn't take a lot. You've finished the book, you have a bit of a think about it, you write down your thoughts. It's an opinion. People do value those. Leave a review, folks. If nothing else, it actually helps grow the authors that you love. Wouldn't you love to see more books from that author? This speaks to a TikTok I did quite recently about self-doubt and how people sometimes feel like bowing out of writing. Well, you know what? One good review or one half-decent review can be the difference between someone who wrote a book you love writing another book that you're going to love and never writing again. So, in your hands, please leave reviews. I think it's a great way to share love.